It's full moon, it's time to change, but I don't know how to, so I'm gonna morb instead. I would like to rule some rules for the Morb Club. First, watch quality cinema. Don't waste your time watching all this superhero bullshit. No, Matrix, that's the shit. That's one. Two, nobody cared who I was until I put on the mask. So keep it that way, put on the mask. Rule number 3. Numbers are funny, especially 69, so make sure to include it whenever, wherever you can. Rule number 69. Burn your pants. Fuck that shit, you don't need pants. You're just cool without them. Burn your socks too. But don't forget about shoes. Rule number 70, I guess. Question everything, but don't be retarded about it. Like, question the news, question those who question the news. Just don't waste your time reading through the comments. They're all this bullshit except the first one. Except the one after the first one that's telling you why the first one is bullshit. Actually, that's one of the rules. I forget the enumeration now, so one rule is the right. Fuck postmodernism, like in general, fuck it. I used to think, and I know you have used to think, that it's alright because nobody would be retarded enough to actually buy into that bullshit that we weave to entertain our minds. But to my horror, not only people buy it, believe it, that this is true, but they act on it, they change their beliefs, or they mold their beliefs in accordance to this flux of bullshit, this morb, my friends, morb. We have created this reality for ourselves, and yet we have done nothing but laugh into the face of something inevitable and terrible. So have we really now? I don't know. I know one thing, it's kind of chilly without pants, but I will keep this on for as long as I can. And the friend Barrel will help me with that. There is a lighter somewhere in there, so let's not clear the distance, or we're going to miss the fireworks. So what's next? Oh, of course, life is a never-ending nightmare, so the least you can do is have some pretty explosions in your backyard. Rule number whatever, clean your shit up. Make sure that whenever you fuck up, when you explode something, make sure that there is no fire, right? That no one fucking scares away their dogs and loses them. Like, that's a dick move. Make sure that you don't trigger veterans with PTSD, because we're getting them in real time, like several dozen every hour. The next rule, I guess, do serve in the military. If they offer you a gun, you'd be fucking stupid to not say yes, please. Of course, then, however you can, make sure that you control the gun and not them. They can control you, but how can you be controlled when you have a gun just like them? So, acquire firearms by any means necessary, not because you want to do something, but because you don't. And the deterrent effects will make sure that the chance of you not having to use those are maximized. Americans can throw up a stink about shootings, etc., but let's be real, it's better to have a shooting than unjust war based on a lie. Right, you had that. The war that normal people don't get fooled into? Well, no, you can't exactly use that against Iraq too, so how do I word it right? What's different from 20 years ago? I mean, we kind of had our own 9/11. Ukrainians were said to blow up an empty UAZ in an empty parking lot belonging to some commander, and the other tower was a 5-man squad crossing into the Russian territory. So, morb. Whatever you can, morb. However you can, morb. Whenever you can, morb. Doubt everything, but don't waste too much time questioning it, because sometimes it's just bullshit. What's much more important is to understand how the people walk into bullshit, how they fall into bullshit. That's bullshit. That's fucking hideous, how we lose people's minds to this fucking mind plague. So, if you are a true morb, don't just morb. Find out what makes morb, and make it stop, because we are the only ones who can be responsible enough to morb. I used to think people like national Bolsheviks were just, taking the piss of things, joking, but not only they are not joking, they haven't actually been making fun of this in the first place. If they don't believe their ideology and still cling to it after all that has been responsible for, I think they are not in fact responsible because of things, I don't know. They were always a joke to me, and the fact that some of them haven't, that some of them have become so influential today, or just the fact that their bullshit can be used by someone very calculated, someone very cool, someone very, I would say, tempered. If they can use the morb to excuse their serious non-morb action, then your morb doesn't deserve to exist. It shouldn't be started, and if it's started, it should be disavowed, it should be destroyed from the inside. And that's what Dugin is not doing. So, in our race to establish a parallel reality, to hide away from all the thinking, I think that we should just think a little bit less in that direction. Man, it's cold. It's cold. So, where were we? I don't know when it started. Maybe it's been going on forever, but I think there has been a change somewhere in the 90s, in the very first years of the 2000s. There has been some shift when enough people started coming to the internet. It was outside the control of the bureaucracy to most extent. There were some rules, there was some enforcement, but you could have a place to yourself and people wouldn't really care what's going on in there unless you've made an effort to be noticed. But then it's started to become much more populated and people were being stupid. And how do you teach a stupid person? You give them some opportunity to do something stupid and harm themselves, and they do that, and that's trolling. But when you use trolling to gain strategic advantage over a whole nation, when you use it to enlist its army That's just evil. That's not morb. Let's morb that